I love MaTeIRiA. I have a huge place in my heart for him. I think he's a great dude.
Why are you gay? Small rant. I despise the Baron daggers in this game. I despise them so much. It's the most dog shit weapon in the entire game. I don't care what kind of damage it does. I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because the weapon is so incredibly bugged. The damage doesn't make sense. Sometimes it's very good damage, sometimes it's dog shit damage. The targeting is ass, sometimes it hits, sometimes it goes to a different direction. Then sometimes whatever you do, just completely different stuff happens with it. You basically use that skill and you pray that the weapon is doing what it's supposed to do. Like while I was doing the entire Battlefield of Time, I didn't even know until one of my guildmates told me, when you hit with the Baron daggers a target, you basically, after you use that stupid weapon, you have to wait at least a second for the entire hits to register on the target, because if you use a basic skill attack in the meantime, it will stop. Your damage connections will not connect unless you give it extra time, and if you interfere with a basic attack, it will stop registering your damage. Incredibly stupid, incredibly stupid. That I hate this weapon. I hate this weapon. I love it in the manhwa, but I despise it in this game. I despise it. Okay, had to get this out of my system. Oh, by the way, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I basically upload any other day. Let's jump into the build. We have Jinwoo with the Baron daggers and with the Plum, both A10. You need that for maximum damage output, otherwise you will not kill the mini boss, and you need the extra damage for Esil. Then for support we're running Silver, Isla, and Kim. Now why we're using Silver for this one is we want to maximize the damage, and therefore we're using Silver because he provides us with a 20% attack buff for 15 seconds. Fisher, for example, only gives us 60% attack buff, and we want to maximize the damage we are getting in this run. Then obviously Isla, and for the break we have this guy over here. Then we're running Beru, Tigris, and we're running Serbi standard as per usual. Now for the build, this time since we're using the Baron daggers, we're gonna with 4-piece toughness set instead of Warmonger set. Theoretically you could use Warmonger set, which would net you slightly higher damage output, but I don't really think you necessarily need it. So you rather want to go with the toughness set for the extra damage. Obsidian set, then 4-piece blessing on Silver, then we have Palace Sylph on Isla, and we have the Breaker Sylph set on Kim. For the skills we're running Gold Liberation and we're running Gold Vacuum Wave. These two skills are what we need. And very important for this strategy, you need Gold Thunderstorm. Level 20, definitely. The higher, the better in general, but you need this skill. This is a requirement here for this specific tactic. If you don't have it, it doesn't work. Then we have Squall. The purple version is good enough. That works, but you need Gold Thunderstorm. For the blessings, Intuit, Pulverize, Weakness Detection, and Double-Edged Sword. This stuff over here does not really matter. And for the blessings, we're using Ice Mind Core and Purple Core standard procedure for Jinwoo, and the rest also doesn't really matter. Let's jump to the breakdown. Okay, let's break this down. And guys, I have to tell you, this BoT is incredibly stupid. Incredibly stupid. I raged so much doing it. I might cut some rage moments right in between. Ja, in die falsche... It's at the front. These two minions in the front are already your RNG part, which makes or breaks your run, and you have to restart. Reason why is, now ideally when everything works out fine and you dash, these two don't do anything. Like here you can see they won't do anything, and this is perfect. If you see them doing nothing, you're good. Continue what you're doing. But if you go into the stage, and I will add a B-roll so you can see it for yourself, but sometimes one of these two or both will start their attack animation to plunge into you, and when they plunge into you, they will move away from the circle where you cannot hit them with the liberation at once, so you have to restart the entire run. Retry this run immediately because you cannot do anything. You already saw them in the back. They just moved the sword a little bit. This is where it's fine. And then you want to stand right in front of these two archers, turn around, use your liberation and you will kill them all, and this is perfectly fine. Now if that worked out, you wanna enter the warp and go to the second phase of this run. This is, if you know what you're doing, it's not that difficult. The only thing that's annoying is a little bit is the boss, but let's go into that. So these minions will spawn, and where you want to position yourself correctly. This is very, very important, because that's why listen what I'm saying here. If you don't position yourself correctly, you will be frustrated a lot, because you feel like, why am I not connecting my liberation most of the time? And you only get like 1 out of 5 correctly. That's why where you want to position yourself is to the from this left archer you see here. You want to stand right to his left foot. This is where you want to position. So within the circle around this spot here, remember this spot, stand right next to his foot. This is where you want to stand, turn around, and you want to use lip. And when you use lip, about to cast your silver, because he will buff you up and give you the silver beast form. Now if you're done correctly, you will kill all of them. Remember, the positioning is key. If you do that correctly, most of the time you will get this right and kill them all for the mini boss to spawn. If you don't do that correctly, the left guy will survive 90% of the time and you will be frustrated a lot. If you do that correctly, it will save you time and nerves. Now once the mini boss spawns, you want to dash and you want to use the Baron daggers. And if you time it correctly, you see when I got the startup animation, you see the quick attack beast form. This means I just got the 20% attack buff from silver. Now you want to enter, wait a little moment, and you can see, okay, the boss is at 8 bars. You connected your hits, and then you want to do 1 dash, and then you want to connect your second hit. And as I mentioned in the intro, make sure to not press a button after you did the second. Do not start throwing out basic attacks, because then the hit detection will stop triggering, the damage will stop registering, and then the boss will be left with like 3 bars or something, and you can restart the whole thing. So we'll wait it out, basically wait it out till like the final hit connected before you use your basic attack. Now ideally what happens is the boss dies. If he's like super low like you see here, it's fine. Really, it's fine. Don't bother too much. Continue with that run, and when it's dark, use your plum, switch to plum, because you need it for the QTE trigger, and we just get an extra plum flower stack. Now the Esil stage is in itself very easy. It's not really difficult whatsoever. It's just crit dependent. It's really just crit dependent. Now what we want to look for here is, once we enter this stage, we want to cast the Shadow Army immediately and start spamming with Plum as well, because we need to trigger the QT, the collapse one. Now we wait it out. We don't Shadow Step immediately. We are waiting for Esil to land, and then we dash. We basically just perfect Shadow Step, and then we Shadow Step her. And this is also the same moment we're gonna cast Isla for an extra buff and the elemental weakness damage increase. Now you want to use your plum, because your QTE does not necessarily activate immediately, because it's like kind of weird. But what you want to do, just hold down the plum button for basic attacks and hold down the R2 button, or whatever button you assigned to QTE attacks, that immediately the collapse is up, or not collapse but death is up, that you are landing the debuff for 8% break effectiveness, or 12% if you have it already golden. Now once you've done that, you want to follow up with Vacuum Wave connected, and once it connects, this is where you want to cast Kim, and you want to dodge out of this animation of the Vacuum Wave animation. And then once collapse is ready, you see at the right here, you want to use it immediately, because the animation takes a little bit of time to finish, and during that animation Kim will break Esil's break bar. And now we want to connect the Thunderstorm, and if you have it golden and if you get the crits, this is very important. Now you have all the stuff. You have the min debuff, you have the defense Shadow Step, you have the debuff from Serbi, you have all the extra stuff. You basically have everything, right? Now if that works out, you know that everything connected fine. If if Esil is after your second hit landed for your thunderstorm is around 40-ish bars, okay? It can be somewhere between 40 to 45, somewhere around that area. But if you see the HP bar around that, you know everything went 100% the way you want it to happen. If it's more than that, something didn't crit. Now, once you did that, you want to follow up with your liberation again, because that will re-trigger your collapse, so you can trigger your collapse a second time. Now, what happens is, okay, you use it, and then you do one more dash, and then you follow up with your second thunderstorm, which also needs to crit. Now, if done correctly, and you got your lucky crit, this is where you are going to kill Esil. And we finish it with a final time of 35 seconds. Well, there are a couple of things where you can save time if you do it like very perfect. If you time everything correctly, you can even get it down to 33 seconds. You can at least save another 1.5 to 2 seconds just by being very perfect with every single minor detail in this run. But this is the entire strat for this battlefield of time, 35 seconds. I hope this helped you out to achieve the fastest time possible on your server. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it, and see ya with the next one. Deuces.